What is up, everybody? Miles TV is back with my episodic review of MythCraft, the podcast. And a little bit of update. If you guys don't know, I'm going to be doing a review on Worlds Beyond Number. If you don't know what that is, it is another D&D podcast, actual play podcast, hosted and DM'd by Brennan Lee Mulligan. So yeah, if you haven't checked them out, check them out. I'll be recording and uploading that soon. But today we're here to talk about MythCraft, the podcast. You always got to get serious when you say that. And today was a very special episode. It was an interlude. If you guys haven't been on the Homebrew channel, you should check them out. My first interlude was with sanity damage, and that one was a rough one. It was very emotional, but I miss I miss a lot of people from sanity damage. Anyway, but MythCraft. This was a special episode so we could find out where Keres was. Keres Mara was missing for a while. And, you know, I had my speculations that Andi was just busy, was playing, things going. She did answer that question. I forgot what she said, but it doesn't matter. She came back, and Keres is back on the show. Andi is back. Everybody's happy. I'm happy. But anyway, so this episode is going to tell us what happened when Keres left. So we do have some special characters, not players. Well, one special player, for this episode. Andi is playing Keres, of course. Cody is playing somebody named Majin Ghost Tempest. It's so hard not to copy Cody's voices, because every time I listen to Cody, I'm like, I want to do that voice. He always does these fun voices, and I'm like, I want to copy that. And then we have special guest TJ. TJ is usually on a lot of the homebrew shows. TJ is a very good podcaster, I would say. And he's a musician and everything. I think he's real good. I think he can come up with stuff on the fly. You can tell he is very passionate about D&D, all that stuff. It's great. Then we have Roger. TJ is playing a character named Throw Trucka or something like that. Throw Trucka, but they just call him Throw. Roger's playing a character named Kai. Tanner is playing a character named Gallius Gorefist. But anyway, let's jump into the episode. As Keres is heading back home, she comes across a lady that looks a little familiar, a little bit too familiar. And, you know, we're beating around the bush here. Apparently this lady may look like Roger. And, you know, Keres kind of hints at that, kind of like takes notes of that. And we did get a little bit of that last episode when somebody was like, oh, your family name sounds familiar and everything. So Keres tries to question the lady, see where Keres would know them from, how long she's been in the palace, where are they from, and found out that her and her husband's were professors at Pash University. So very much an open character arc there for Lucian. I can't wait to dive into that, especially if he thinks his parents are dead and they're not. Can't wait to get into that. As Keres is heading towards the Emperor's room, they overhear the Emperor talking on the other side of the wall of the possible war that could be coming. So this is where I had a little bit of confusion, because I thought Emperor Nearin was everybody's emperor. But Roshallan's emperor is Nearin. Keres Emperor is the Emperor of Vaenyth, and I forgot what his name is, but he's the vampire sounding dude. All the emperors sound like vampires. Not a dig at Kyle, but all the emperors sound like vampires. And I'm like, I can't trust them. And I think it's more of like maybe a Russian thing or a German thing, or no, Russian, I'm sorry. I don't know, but they just all sound like vampires. And it's just like, Why do all the evil emperors sound like vampires? but Keres' emperor is the Emperor of Vaenyth, and the Roshallan, where we're at in the prison and everything, is Emperor Nearin. So I was a little confused on that, but that cleared it up, and I was like, oh, okay, I've had them mixed up. I thought Nearin was the big bad talking to everybody, all that. But Nearin and the Emperor of Vaenyth, again, I don't remember his name per se, but they were talking and trying to figure out what they're going to do about the coming war. Keres, they come out and he sees Keres, and Emperor Nearin is like, looks like, talking to Keres about, like, I don't know. It seemed like he knew of her, knew of Keres, and it was a weird interaction there. And I was just kind of like, that's weird. But the Emperor of Vaenyth talks to Keres about the coming events, the war that could possibly happen, what Keres has to do in this Coliseum, things of that nature. Keres does learn that there is a spy in Roshallan that's ready to set off the war as basically a kamikaze type thing, like, gonna throw the first strike per se and cause the war to be set off, maybe doing some big event, killing innocents or something. But this person is of political stance somewhere. They do not really know who it is. But whenever that happens, apparently the war is going to be set off. So that's something to look for when we get back to Pash. So the Emperor tells Keres a little bit about the Coliseum. There are going to be monsters and people in the Coliseum, and Keres has to be the last one to just survive to win. All Keres has to do is survive. He asks if there's any questions or anything that Keres needs. Keres says no. Keres goes to bed. Keres is tired. Keres doesn't, and is very adamant that Keres doesn't want to do this. They talk about it every chance they can get. Like, I'm going to be dead. This is, you can change the rules. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why do I have to die? I'm like one of your best spies, soldiers, or whatever. If I'm the champion, don't you think you want me around type thing? It's so, and the Emperor just kind of shrugs it off. It's like, this is how we done it for thousands of years. This is the way. This is, I can't change the rules. So just, we'll talk more. Keres goes off and goes to sleep for the night. The next day, the tournament starts bright and early, and you can tell that Keres is uneasy. And we meet everybody's character for the big tournament. Throw thinks everything is a brick. Pulls things out of its backpack and just throws it. It's a brick. This javelin's a brick. This frying pan's a brick. This brick is a brick. Throws everything. It's a brick. Kai summons mirror images, like 7 mirror images, fights with the use of the mirror images that they summon. Gallius is just a straight combat dude, but Tanner always makes that fun. And then there's a whole bunch of slimes. There's like some gorilla horses and things of that nature. And Majin Ghost Tempest is the most flair for dramatics. I think I need Majin Ghost Tempest and Lucian to meet and see who is the most dramatic. And then combat continues. They fight back and forth. I'm not going to get into the detail. Go listen to the episode. They fight back and forth. Eventually, everybody starts dying. All the contestants, everybody starts dying, except Keres. Keres has noticed that they have never been hit by any monster or hurt in any kind of way. And Keres notices this and starts to walk through the battlefield, and none of the monsters start to attack them. As Keres looks out into the crowd, they notice that there are these cloaked figures casting a spell or doing something fishy, and one of them tells Keres to run. this giant worm comes out of the ground, and it is called a weird worm. You can go ahead and look that up in the MythCraft compendium. But this weird worm comes out of the ground, and Keres takes off running, gets on a horse, runs through the city, barely making it, dodging fireballs, and eventually another cloaked figure points Keres in the right direction, ends up jumping on a boat, and the captain's like, basically was like, we've been expecting you, glad you can make it. You can stay under deck until we get out of Roshallan, Vaenyth. And then eventually the scene cuts to Keres getting to Pash and bumping into Thistle, and that's where everything ends. It was an interlude episode. I very much was like, man, where did Keres go? Why did Keres left? So this answered a lot for me. This was a real good episode. You could tell everybody was having fun. We got to see TJ. I love TJ. Everybody made fun characters. Everybody died except Keres. And I if there was a way to save Majin Ghost Tempest, do that. Bring him to meet Lucian and see which one has the most flair. But yeah, so that was just that episode. It was an interlude episode. Solid 9 out of 10. I very much dig that episode. I love Keres. I love everybody's creativity there, and we got to find out just a little bit of lore. Lucian's parents, things going on with Keres, these people who are protecting her, helping her. So yeah, great episode. Go check it out. As always, jump into their Discord, talk to them, ask them the questions, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thanks for tuning in to Miles TV. Bye.